You sure you're ready?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're going. And hey there. Welcome to SkiP HappEns, the Skip Clark podcast. And the song you just heard, actually, you can hear that on the Wolf. But even better yet, the guy that sings that is on my left, your right. And it's AJ Sanders. Welcome, my friend.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Love your accent.
I appreciate it.
How you? How you?
How you doing?
Yeah, where are you from?
South Carolina, Hartsville.
Hartsville.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, where's Hartsville? Is that near Charlotte? No, it's North Carolina.
Actually, it's about 2 hours away from there.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's not too bad.
It's like the perfect midway point if you're going from Charlotte to Myrtle Beach. You'll actually go right around.
Do you get you taking the beach at all?
Yeah.
You like a beach
I
guy?
graduated from Coastal Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, down there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Right on the beach.
Yeah.
Can't ask for anything closer than that.
It's really funny, man. I'll see people, from Myrtle Beach or from South Carolina, and in every one of my album covers, I wear a Coastal Carolina hat. And so I'll sit there and talk to someone, and we might talk about my music. I'm like, yeah, man, I graduated from Coastal. Really? Like, yeah. If you look on the album cover, it's there. It's there.
How long you been doing country?
I've been full time at it for the past probably 4 years.
I'm not going to lie. We met earlier today, and we talked a little bit. 4 years. But you're a pro golfer. You've been on that pro.
Yeah, I'm still a scratch. Yeah, I don't get to. I've probably played 5 or 6 times this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it? Do you? Is there a course that you'd love to play on someday that you haven't?
Augusta, man. Augusta.
You haven't been to. You're from the South, dude.
I have been to Augusta, and have you ever been?
I'm not a golfer, but I know where it is.
You need to go. Even though you don't play golf or you might not watch it, you need to go.
See, I don't know. Something's always, I don't know if there's got to be more to it. You hit a ball, you chase it. You hit it a little bit further, you follow it.
Yeah.
Hit it a little bit further.
I get that.
Follow it.
The crazy thing about Augusta is if you go out, they actually have everything that's there. Is the beer is like Master's Light or Master's like.
Everything's got the master label.
It's really Bud Light, but or egg salad. They have the best egg salad sandwiches. And the funny thing is if you're out there, you won't see out of all those pine trees all over the course. There's no pine cones. They have guys.
Don't they normally have like the pine cones that are the size of footballs?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying. They're big.
That they have people out there that if a pine cone touches the ground, they run over there and grab it so you can't see it on TV. It's
seriously
insane. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow. So you've been playing golf all your life and got into music about 4 years ago. What made you go the music route?
Oh, man.
Mr.
Well, we're
Chevy
on the
and
podcast,
Daddy.
so I can kind of give you the background
no,
on this
it's all right. And we talked about this earlier, and that's why I wanted you to come over.
Yeah.
Because I cannot stress enough that these artists that you see here on SkiP HappEns or you hear on the Wolf with me in the afternoon, they're real people.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, you drive a car, a truck, whatever. I mean, you buy groceries like everybody else. You live your life, and you're just trying to live your dream and pay your bills. So, all right, I'm ready.
All right. So I have not told many people this entire story. So this is the full story on
Okay.
this. So I used to work construction,
Right.
to kind of, make ends meet. And the way I would do it is we would go work shutdowns in the winter, work at plants. And I worked up at the Uniman plant in Minnesota, 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week. I mean, it's tough. And so I was doing that and also doing pro golf, mini tours and stuff like that. And there's not a lot of money in it at all. It's, you pay $1,000 to $2,000 depending on the tournament.
Right.
And the winner is the one that usually makes the money, but you still don't make a whole lot of money. So you're still going for broke. And so the way I got into music, first off, I got my parents to buy a guitar when I was in college so that I would pass class.
Really? Was that like a little incentive?
Well, I would sit there and strum chords instead of play Call of Duty all night. I'd strum chords.
All right.
And turn the science test or whatever biology test into a song so that I could remember everything.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
what a great idea, actually.
Yeah, so that's how I started playing, and I've always kind of sang here and there, did karaoke, especially, I had to have so much to drink before I started. So
at the karaoke bars?
Yeah.
You were one of those?
The way I got into music in the first place was we had a friend of mine, Brian Sansbury, you end up watching this, what's up, buddy? He almost killed himself in a motorcycle wreck.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I don't remember the whole story, but he was driving late at night and ended up hitting like the edge of the road and flipped him off. Didn't have a helmet on, and I remember to this day I've got pictures of him just tore up, man. He was bad off.
Why no helmet?
And,
Well, I guess you don't have
South
to wear
Carolina,
a
you
helmet.
don't have to.
Okay. All right. Here you do.
So what we ended up doing was to help cover his medical costs is we threw a huge fundraiser at our little local bar called J. Michael's. And we had 2 guys playing, and they needed a third guy. And I was kind of on, I guess, like the board or whatever. We were all kind of in discussion of who's playing. And they needed one guy to sing for an hour. And I had never played in front of anybody except for at like bonfires. I was like, man, for Brian, I'll do it, man. I don't mind doing that. And one of the guys, I won't mention your name. One of the guys,
he knows who he is.
One of the guys made the comment that he did not want me playing because he wanted to make sure that the crowd stayed there. He was scared that I was going to run the crowd off before he got to play because he was the headliner that night, you know. So it kind of ticked me off. And so what I ended up doing is I went in there that night, and instead of drinking and having fun because he always sounds so good, I said, you know what, I'm gonna see how good he actually sounds. I went up there. I heard him miss so many notes, man. And I was like, if he can do that, there's no reason I can't. Right. I couldn't have done any worse. So I ended up about 2 days later, somehow God's had a plan in all this, and I'll explain that in a minute. Okay. But a buddy of mine was doing an open mic night about 45 minutes away from me, and I called him, and I said, what exactly do you have to do this? He was like, man, you show up, we'll let you sing any 3 songs you want, just bring your guitar. I said, all right. So I end up showing up, played 3 songs, and you know, out of the 25 people there, I had the majority of them dancing by then. And I played an Alabama song. I played I'm in a Hurry.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Had most of the bar dancing, and what ended up happening was all of a sudden I was playing 3-4 gigs a week from other artists that had stopped by that night. Oh, they were inviting me to come over and go across the state and go to other towns to actually play with them. So all of a sudden I'm playing mini tours, not making hardly anything, and then all of a sudden I'm stuck in a bar playing 2-3 hours a night, having fun, socializing, and having a blast doing it. And no matter how good or bad I did, I made money. So that's kind of where that came from. And I started writing songs and stuff on the road. And I don't know, man, one crazy night, I sat up, and I think I told you earlier, I had Nashville kind of going through my head one night. Yep. And one of the reasons I had Nashville going through my head was, and this is no lie, I dated 3 girls. After one girl, you know, we broke up after 4 years. I dated 3 girls. Okay. You know, over probably the next 2-3 years. And the way we would break up, they would break up with me on a Sunday when I happened to be in town and could go to church.
On a Sunday.
I swear, I cannot make this up. On Sunday.
On a Sunday.
When I would walk out of church. You know,
they would break up with you as you walked out.
These 3 girls in a row, I had a breakup text from them when I walked out of church. It was, and we never fought, never had a reason to break up. It was crazy. So I just kind of had this thing in my head saying, like, God's telling me I need to get out of this town.
Yeah, I think so.
So so I don't know. I went to bed that night and I said, you know, I can't just take off. Like if I wake up tomorrow, and I still think I need to go to Nashville, I'll go to Nashville. So I told you, I woke up the next day, went to breakfast with my dad like we always do before. You know, I'd go practice for 12 hours on the course. And I said, hey, man, I think I'm moving tomorrow. He said, okay. You know, I was supposed to move to Florida the next week to play another tour. And
golf tour.
He said, so where are you going? Kind of chuckling, knowing where I'm going. I said, actually, I think I'm a move to Nashville. And he said, do what? I said, yeah. I said, something's telling me I need to go write songs for a living, man. I said, I don't know why. I said, just trust me on this. I said, I'm leaving at 2 a.m. Don't tell anyone. And I told a couple family members, and my mom and dad knew. I didn't tell any friends. I pulled like 2 of them aside. Yeah.
Now look at it. We're playing your song on the radio. You can hear it on the radio.
It's correct. But that was the reason I ended up going to Nashville. I always tell people, like, you know, especially if you grow up in a southern town, you know, we're we're big into church and stuff back
Yeah.
home, and you always hear your family members and the preacher going, if you listen, God will talk to you. If you listen, and as a kid,
indirectly, somebody was telling you something.
right? If you listen,
Yeah.
you think as a kid, you're like, oh yeah, whatever, yeah, I pray, I do that, and this is the one time I can say when I moved to Nashville, within the first week, I met my producer, Bridget Tatum. First week.
Love her, by the way.
I met my wife the first week, and all of my friends, bigger artists and not even singers that are still really good friends of mine today, I met the first week.
Very cool. Very
Neat,
cool.
man.
And
Yeah.
you've kept in touch, like you say, you're good friends, and Bridget is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Bridget, with the band the Psychotics, you had
Uncle
Uncle Cy have an autographed Duck Commander cup.
I gotta get me one of those. Dude, I watched Duck Commander, or not Duck Commander. I don't know why I said that. I watched. God, I can't even think.
I know my mind just went blank too, but yeah.
I watched that show with them like 3 years straight. At least one episode a night. I was watching it for like 3 years straight.
Yeah, I think those are the shows that they're so different. You need to watch it. It's like okay,
yeah.
Duck calls. I mean, they're making the duck call, and
hey buddy,
and
his
Miley's not supposed to come down here while we do a podcast.
His dad was the starter over Terry Bradshaw in
really?
college. Did you know
I
that?
did not know that.
He was
That's an interesting fact.
If you guys see this and I'm wrong,
okay, just comment. You can comment down below.
Phil and all those guys, I'm sorry if I do get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was the starter in college over Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw was his backup. And
wow, I had no idea.
He was supposed to go to the NFL, and the reason he did not go to the NFL was because it was during duck hunting season. I swear. That is why he didn't.
I mean, this whole thing about ducks and duck hunting and that's what they do. That's what they love, and they made a show out of what they love, and you're making a show out of your music, so to speak, because you love it. Oh, you got Chevy and Daddy on the radio, and we got more music coming out. Right. I know, and this one's going up the chart. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's got to be such a cool feeling for you.
It is, man. Especially, I grew up listening to Alan Jackson and all those guys. And
I can see Alan in you. I don't know what it is, but you've got that.
I told you I used to work at his bar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So and we talked about all the different bars that are in Nashville.
Yeah, I used to. It's funny because my hair wasn't quite as long as it is now. They have a cutout of Alan right at the back by the elevator, and I'd come walking through with 2-3 cases of beer, and I'd stand beside it, and people would be taking pictures of it. And when I would stand beside it, my goatee and my hair,
are you Alan's son? Are you related, or are you Alan and we don't know it?
Well, and plus you also got to think I'm working in AJ's Good Time Bar.
Yeah.
When they ask my name, I'm AJ.
AJ.
Yeah, and they're like, "You're screwing with us." I'm like, "No, I promise I'm not."
You play along with it for a little bit. Yeah. Why not? That's what I would have done. Were you a bar back, or what did you do? Yeah, so you made sure there was ice. And they need beer. They bring the beer. What was I know you're drinking Labatt Blue here because you're in New York. But what's it, Miller? What's the big beer in Nashville?
Everything.
Okay, but I don't think beer. Okay, what's your beer? What do you drink?
My go-to, I always drink Corona.
Oh yeah, little lime. That's easy.
Little lime, and then I don't know why I've for the years, like even my friends, they started drinking Corona because that's all I would drink.
It's easy,
and
it's good beer.
I've kind of switched up on my shots though. I started out with Jack Fire, and then
I'm a Jack guy,
and then I got into raspberry vodka, just straight up chilled, straight up chilled raspberry vodka, and then now I'm kind of back on like the Jack Fire.
What about Fireball or any of that stuff?
I like that's
dangerous though, because it tastes so good it'll knock you on your ass in no time.
Well, that's how I got into Jack Fire was when I first moved to Nashville. I asked for a Fireball like the first night I was there, and the bartender said, "Have you ever had Jack Fire? It tastes better, blah blah blah. You know what? I'll give you one for free," and gave it to me, and I was like, "Wow,
yeah,
so much better."
I've never had Jack Fire, but
not as much cinnamon.
Really?
So
smooth.
Yeah. But I tell you what, I had 3 guys in a group once. I was doing a songwriter festival in Smith Mountain Lake up in Virginia,
Okay.
and it's geese. These three guys come up,
Or geese.
and up and coming artists from the area. They're like, "Yeah, man, we're moving to Nashville. What's your advice?" And I was like, "Man, you better learn how to drink." And they're like, "Oh yeah, what?" I'm like, "No, you don't understand, man. Like, you, do you think you could go out with me and probably go through 10 shots of Jack Fire or Fireball and then probably have a 12-pack on top of that? Because we do that every single night."
Dude, I'd be on my ass. That's not happening with me.
Well, if you really think about it, a lot of times, you write a song or you go to a writer's round, say you're playing that night and you go have a couple drinks to like celebrate or, the mingle. And then let's just say a bigger artist comes through that, of course, buy him a shot, he buys you a shot, you see other friends, and then the crazy thing is if you see an artist that you want to write with or a songwriter you want to write with, you have to.
You start doing a lot of shots.
You have to, right. And you actually have to.
No idea.
You have to keep up with them without making a fool of yourself, man. I mean, it's.
Or do you fake it?
No,
right, no, that's
no,
good.
no. I have
I'm
had some
kidding.
crazy nights, but.
Really? Out and about?
Yeah.
Really? How crazy?
Oh,
Dude,
man.
you must, there's times, we're only human. We go out, we have a good time. You've got a lot of buddies in Nashville.
Yeah.
And, you've been there, 4 years now, you said. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Let me ask you this. Nashville is growing like unbelievable rates so fast. What used to take you 20 minutes to get from the airport to the Membrion, get downtown. Did I say that right? I used to call it Demon.
Yeah, Demon
Demon Borough or something like that. But it's like, wow. But but it used to take you like 20 minutes to get from the airport to there.
Yeah.
And now it takes you about an hour. So depending on the time of day, of course. But all the traffic, all the cranes, you get down around, of course we go to town for the seminars and stuff. And wow, just every year that when I arrive in Nashville, it's so cool. The plane touches down. I'm like, yes, Nashville, love it.
Yeah.
Walking through the airport, you hear, "Hi, I'm Alan Jackson. Welcome to Nashville." Now, maybe we'll hear, "Hi, I'm AJ,
I'm AJ
Sanders. Welcome to Nashville." Skip.
Come find me and get a drink, man.
I'm buying. But it's growing so fast, and that's what scares me about such a great city. Nashville, just unbelievable city. There's something to do, a lot of different genres of music. It's all happening.
And it's
cool.
not just country, man. I've got a lot of friends back home that are really good, kind of, the alternative guys like the Ed Sheeran when he first started out. I've got a lot of good friends, like really good songwriters that I've told, you need to come to Nashville, man. You'll be different from everybody, and people support that type of stuff there. It's not just,
you believe that?
Not just country.
You would not be where you are today if you were still in South Carolina.
Oh no way.
So you're talking about moving to where the action is and getting right into the middle of it.
It's a concept. Like I've taken a lot of concepts from golf or watching my dad with his business or my friends with their business. I've kind of taken everything I know from everything outside of music and put it into music, kind of into that business aspect.
Sure.
But it's really weird. How could I say this? It's weird that so many artists are kind of caught up in just the music. Like they don't see the how much business goes into it.
It's a lot of business. There's a lot of what people do not see. There's a lot of, they hear the song, but they have no idea. They say, "Oh, that's an awesome song." But they have no idea what really went into that. And there's a whole business side of what you're doing as an artist.
Well, like I'll give you guys a perfect example.
Okay.
I've got stage fright. I get nervous as crap on stage. And
it's normal though, man.
It is, but it is.
But it wears off, right?
Oh yeah, it
once
wears
you
off,
get it. Yeah, okay.
It's a weird thing where, that right before I go on stage, like I played an event for Monster Energy, and there's a couple thousand people at this thing. the nerves are a good thing. You know, like I told you earlier, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough.
I love that. I'll never
I
forget
know
that.
I know for a fact that the only reason I'm here is because I'm where I want to be, and they kind of go away. But
Right, right.
and you also on top of going back to what I was saying about the work behind doors, like that's the only 2 or 3 hours that we get to have fun. You don't see all the nights that I stayed up till 6, 7 in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and then went to a co-write at 9. You didn't see all those hours that I was pushing social media late at night getting stuff prepared. And
Right.
Chevy and Daddy, for example, the way I did that song was you really have to think outside of the box on a lot of stuff. And I'm always thinking ahead. Like even when we wrote that song, I already had the video pictured in my head. I had, I'm trying to stay 10 steps ahead of where I'm at. And one
It's
of
hard,
the things, right?
It's very difficult.
One of the things I did with Chevy and Daddy was when we dropped the song, I had the video ready. I put it on YouTube. First video ever. Got to like 15,000, 20,000 plays, which is great.
Yeah, that's very good, as a matter of fact.
And
to get a start, are you
right.
kidding?
So
That's awesome.
so then what I did in the background again, while that's going on, I am sharing on Facebook. Here's the link to the video and kind of letting that circulate. But the problem is when you do that, it's too many steps. So I put a post up. I'm asking you to go click that to go to another site to watch the video. So a lot of people don't like going too many steps. So I kind of let that build up to 20,000 and notice it kind of drop off. In the background while that was going on, I was going through Spotify. If you go to Spotify, you can go through all the playlists. Every playlist that's out there, you can go through. And
yes,
once you get past the Spotify generated playlist, you can start seeing users like me and you that have their Facebook link to the account. So what I would do is I would go through and see who all had Facebook's linked. And if they had a lot of followers, I would go send them a message. Hey, I really think you would like this song. Would you check it out and let me know? Usually the number on anything, whether it's likes, views, or even whenever you do a paid ad, you're looking at a 10% response. So 10% of those guys or girls would respond. And still to this day, I've built up a good relationship with them where I can hit them up and they put more songs out. But, so I'm doing that in the background, staying up half the night.
see, there's a lot of hurdles.
Right.
You're doing a lot of steps
Right.
to get your music out there that a lot of us do not see. I mean, I know it's there.
Yeah.
But I think, the average listener or, they hear Chevy and Daddy. It's like, wow, what really went into that? You're pushing it as an independent artist as well.
Right.
You're doing a lot of this stuff that
the labels would do.
The labels would do. And they pay people a lot of money to do that.
Right.
But then that's a whole nother subject with the labels. And I think you want to be your own boss. I think when you're with a label, and I hear this from a lot of different artists, you're with a label, you got somebody else calling the shots. And, you'll say, no.
Man.
Right, exactly. You know what you want.
I had so many people
where you
tell
want
me
to take that
Chevy
risk.
and Daddy wouldn't do anything and blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. What I'm seeing right now on the charts, it's doing real well. I would not have added it if I thought it was terrible. When I was approached about your song, I said, dude, this is awesome.
Right.
So
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it tells a story.
Mm-hmm.
So in the video, tell us about the video. If you when you after watching this, the truck is awesome.
Yeah. So
the truck is awesome.
So like I said before, like the concept of the video, like we're actually going to shoot a video for another song I've got coming out. And I've already had them in my head exactly how I needed to do them.
Right. Who does the video shoot? I mean, do you have?
So this guy's name that did this past video, Chevy and Daddy, his name was Jason.
Is this something he does right along? Okay, so he works with the artist.
He actually lives in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He drove up. His wife or girlfriend had family in Nashville, so they came up. And when he came up, so. It's crazy how we did this video. I had the whole concept in my head. So the one of my buddies that his boss goes to the hockey games. It was his house that we shot it at. And the only reason that got brought up, we were out drinking one night.
But the barn is awesome.
Oh yeah, we were out drinking one night and he called his boss and was like, "Hey, do you think we could use this area?" Because they have like a huge country mountain view and like all this nice stuff. So I was like, that's perfect. So we get that, and then we had a bunch of people cancel with the trucks because I couldn't get my papa's truck up. So
Papa would be your granddaddy.
yeah.
Okay.
So we couldn't get his truck up. And we were at the bar one night. I don't have a truck, so randomly one of our newer friends comes up like, "Hey man, my uncle has this
58 Chevy,
60 something Chevy, blah blah blah." He was like, "Hold on, I'll show you a picture," and he showed it to me. I was like,
That's
"Can
it.
you have that there Saturday morning?" "Oh yeah, I got you, man." So we get the truck. I had two kids, which were my relatives, back out as the kid, like the younger me, and it was both of them were my nephews. Their brother, the middle one, ends up driving. My sister drove him up last minute to come up there to do the video. So we finally get the kid.
Nothing like getting the family involved.
And dude, as soon as we got there, man, Jason shows up and him and his girlfriend, ready to shoot, and they're like, "All right, so how do you want to start this?" I went, this is the idea. This is what we're gonna do. This, and that. Okay, we just started shooting, and we probably shot it in 3 hours, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like.
Well, I just had everything. I had already rode up there to scope out exactly how the roads were. Okay, we could shoot here. We could do this and that, and
Can I ask? And you don't have to give me an exact number, but to shoot a video like that, how much? What does that normally cost you?
so.
If you don't want to tell me, that's fine. I'm just kind of curious.
I'll be realistic.
Being an independent artist and doing your own thing,
I won't give you the exact price.
That's fine. That's fine.
But I will say the price that I got. I actually showed to one of my buddies was the guitarist for Big and Rich.
Okay.
I showed him the video before it came out, and he loved it. And he was like, "How much did that cost?" And I told him, he was like, "Dude,
it's a
we
deal.
would have paid triple for that." For that same video, we would have paid triple. I was like, "Really?" But it cost me a couple grand to do it.
Yeah. Well, you got it done, and it's pretty awesome.
Well, it was like I was telling you about, your whole setup. If you want to, or the same thing with music, if you want to go and have a guy cut a song for $400, that's great, man. That's fine. I understand, but in order to compete with the best and actually prove that you should belong to those people's, in my eyes, like Eric Church or the Alan Jacksons. If I want to compete and have my name up there with those guys, I also have to pull off a product like that.
Right.
So the same thing with the video. I thought about it. I said, well, I could shoot it this way, but I want it to look this way because this is my vision for it. So that was the whole reason behind that.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's tough, man.
I mean, do you have a degree in marketing?
No. Graphic design. Yeah.
But yet you're doing the marketing. You're like just doing an amazing job. The golf.
Going back to golf, man, I took a lot of concepts from what I learned, from my coaches and stuff with golf. That's kind of how I do my music, man.
It's true. What do you drive?
What do I drive?
Yeah, back home.
So I've got a Chevy Tahoe now.
Oh, nice.
I had so when I used to work, I had a 1500 Silverado that was jacked up.
I got rid of my Silverado, It
cost me 50 grand, give or take,
to jack it up.
No, it was.
I
took it off the lot that way, and this was when I had
beautiful though.
This was at a time where I had a full-time job. I kind of given up on golf, and I was like, you know what, man, I want my truck. I want all this, and I ended up selling it probably 6 months later.
Really? See, I've always been a truck guy. I'm driving a Ford Explorer now, but I mean, I had the Silverado, the 1500. I've had the Ram. I had the Ford F-150.
Yeah.
I've had them all, and I loved them all.
They're all good, man.
They're all good. To me, one's as good as the other. So, I mean, but
that's what's funny, man. I couldn't tell you. Actually, a funny story about the video. I had Ford put ads over my video when it first got on YouTube.
Ford did that.
Yeah.
On their own.
Yeah.
How can they do that? Oh, because it's YouTube, and they buy.
Yeah, they can select what they want to put it over. Yeah. Or what types of videos.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
That's just, to me, it takes balls. That's all I'm saying. It's like you work hard for something, and because it's a Chevy, they decide to put Ford over the. Yeah, that's so. What about you, family wise? What do you got? You said something. You got some kids, or you got a kid?
I got a 1-year-old at the house. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
She's a handful.
Yeah. What's her name?
Huntley.
Oh, I love it. Huntley.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and names like that are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when they're different.
Yeah.
She's Daddy's girl.
Oh yeah.
You FaceTime with her all the time. You're on the road.
Actually, I just got off the phone with her when I walked in. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Her new thing while I'm gone is, I guess my wife and her mom went to Sam's, and they give you the big cardboard boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they had it laying down, and now by accident, her thing is to just go climb in that box like a cat.
We all did it as a kid.
Just sit there. Yeah.
Yeah. But we
Like
all
she
did
can't-
it.
Yeah.
Get the big box. That was like our
Yeah.
airplane or Ford or whatever you want to call it back growing up, way back in the day.
Exactly.
So where do you go from now? From here, where do you go? You've got Chevy and Daddy on the radio.
Yeah.
We're still working that on the charts, and I love it. And let me ask you this: when you first heard it on the radio, did you like drive off the road?
Nah, dude.
You're like, wow, yeah, they're playing my song.
I'll give credit to one guy.
That's
There's
all
a
right.
guy back home. His name's Woody.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to be a huge beach DJ back at in South Carolina, and now he's got his own internet radio. And
Love it.
My dad ran into him one day and played him a couple of my songs, and he was like, "Are you you freaking kidding me?" Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. I will give him credit that he was the first one to play it on radio. I will
Awesome.
give him that credit.
Awesome.
Way before, like right when the song was
As
released,
a believer.
and he actually did a power hour where he claimed that he had the most listeners he had ever. I think that's right. That he played a power hour of nothing but Chevy and Daddy on a loop, one after the other. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could do that.
That was.
And I don't mean that in a way. I mean, I
Yeah.
love the song, but I
Yeah.
think my boss would come down to me and go, "Dude, you can't do that."
I'll give him credit, which was
He's not watching.
to me was that was a really cool aspect. I think that the biggest thing for me will be when I'm driving down the road and hear it by mistake, not being told, like,
Yeah, that,
in the studio, they're like, oh,
yeah, all right, when you leave, I'm going to play the song. You'll
Yeah.
hear it on the radio. Yeah, no, when you just hear it, come on.
that or like in the middle of an interview, they'll
Yeah.
play it, and you don't really get the same effect. Like, I haven't had the one where it was just like, I don't know, Jason Aldean and me, like,
Right,
you
right.
know, I haven't had that yet. So I'm
That's-
sure once
it'll
that
happen.
happens, it'll be like, darn,
Dude, I'm in that same category.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Jason
crazy.
Aldean.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, just amazing. So where did you record most of your stuff? In Nashville?
All of it was recorded at the Sound Emporium.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that up on Music Row?
Yeah, it's about probably 2 miles away. Something like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. You go to Nashville and you go around the circle with all the statues, the naked,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
and go down Music Row. If you've never been to Nashville, you got to at least do that drive
Got
once.
to, man. Got
So
to.
it's interesting, and you see all the different buildings. But correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of those buildings are vacant now.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah,
Too
a lot of for
expensive,
sale. Yeah, you see, and all the labels are merging, like big
Yeah.
corporations do now. Everybody's
Yeah.
eating each other up.
It's crazy. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
artists that are signed, and you hear or you see who they're signed by. You're like, oh, I never heard of them, but it's a branch off of like a bigger corporation.
Yeah.
So they've got like 10 labels under that one label. I mean, it's
crazy.
insane, man. Yeah.
It's crazy. So you flew in,
Mm-hmm.
you rented a car, you brought your golf clubs
I did.
and a guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and just change of clothes.
Pretty much.
The most important thing is the golf clubs
Yeah,
and the
pretty
guitar.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been hanging around Central New York the last couple of days, which is
have,
really
man.
cool. And
Got to see Niagara Falls. That was.
oh yeah,
pretty
that's
cool,
you've
yeah.
never seen it before. No, that's really
Mhm.
cool. What, did you see it at night?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I went. So I didn't stay when they did like
They
the
light
pink-
it up.
Yeah, the pink lights. I think
Yeah,
they were doing
yeah.
for this month. But
Okay.
I went out there at sunset.
Very cool.
That's when I went out.
Get some
there,
good pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Send them home, honey. Look what
Yeah.
you're missing.
Mm-hmm. I actually told my family. I said, man, we need to come back up here. Springtime or sometime soon because it was actually cheap to go up there.
Mhm. It's
biggest
beautiful.
Cost, the biggest cost was the flight, but the hotel rooms were.
Did
60,
you
70 a night.
go over on the Canadian side at all? No. Canadian side is beautiful too.
Dude,
but
I
you got to have
did.
that special license, I think, now
Well,
to get
they
across the
told
border.
me that I forgot my passport for
Yeah,
one, which was
then you're
my
not-
fault. Yeah.
yeah.
But they told me that if I would have brought my birth certificate, I could have had 1-day pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
For
that. I
people
didn't know
that
they
are
did that.
interested, yeah, I'm pretty sure they said if I would have brought birth certificate. I could have.
I know we have here in New York State, we have an enhanced license,
Yeah.
which allows us to go across
That's
the
cool,
border.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
I
Mexico
definitely would
as
have
well.
liked to have gone over there.
It is beautiful. The whole area is beautiful. The
Yeah.
you know, the American side, the Canadian side's all good. So, wow, you know, it's so cool that you're sitting here with Skip Happens.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm growing my podcast, and I'm getting a lot of the independent artists that want to come on, and you included. And it's just really neat to talk to somebody like you and somebody that's trying to live their dream. But you're doing,
tough,
you know,
man.
like I do my job, you do your job.
Yeah.
But my job is pretty much I get a salary, I'm good,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. But you're fighting to make money. You're like out there every day selling your songs, Chevy and Daddy, you know, one way or another.
And you have to do it without over pushing to your audience too. That's the hardest part. Is
Yeah, you don't want to piss them off.
It's easy to share something about your songs every single day, and I mean, it's easy to put, but you get on people's nerves. I mean, I do it, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know. I hear you. I hear you. I hear. What do you do to relax?
what do I do?
Yeah.
Play with my daughter now. That's about
pretty cool.
Actually, to relax, I go to the gym. That's kind of
Yeah. You said you went to the gym today.
That is my thing.
Something I should be doing,
I'll
and
go
I am
in there
not.
for 2 or 3 hours, and that's my
What gym did you go to today?
Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. Very cool. Very
The
cool.
only reason I go there is
It's $10 a month.
Yeah, $10 a month, and I actually pay the 20 so that no matter where I go, I can get in for.
Yeah, and somebody like you that's on the road all the time. So,
Yeah.
and you get some downtime. You ever go to like a baseball game?
Mm-hmm.
See, you notice
Nashville
we're
Sounds,
big.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Sounds,
exactly. AAA.
And well, before we had Huntley, we probably went to more than half the Predators games.
Awesome.
I see the.
Oh yeah,
sticker over
this
there.
is last time they lost though. Yeah, my boss,
They're fun.
his daughter works at the Bridgestone.
Nice.
So yeah,
those games, man, it's intense.
I love hockey.
Yeah.
And we have a hockey team here, not at that level,
Right.
one below the American Hockey League, but I love hockey. I used to play hockey.
Okay.
Love baseball. As you can see, we got some baseballs, and
That was one sport I wish I would have played was hockey.
I did. I played in high school.
It's fun.
I got the
man.
crap
It
beat
looks
out of me.
fun.
I was a
can't
right
s-
wing,
I
and
can't skate worth a crap.
I don't know. I guess once you learn, you never forget.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it in years. And
I've tried twice. I didn't fall, but it was not pretty.
yeah,
at
get
all.
out with the fam.
Yeah.
You know, get the double runner, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's very cool. You're also, you told me earlier, NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
You're big in the NASCAR.
Yeah.
Tell me, you were telling me about Earnhardt and all that earlier
Yeah,
today.
man. You talking about my granddad or?
Well, you were earlier today. We were having a
Yeah.
conversation.
So Darlington, they always have
Yes.
the race on first week of September, and is that Labor Day weekend? Labor Day weekend? Is that right?
Yeah, it's Labor Day's always that first Monday. So
Yeah, Labor
in
Day
September.
weekend they always have the Southern 500, and
Yep.
it just so happened that my daughter's birthday was on the day of the Southern 500. But we took her back to South Carolina, and we went to the race the night before, which was the Xfinity race, and that was the night that Dale Jr. came back for one more race and he came in 5th. That's crazy, amazing.
It is crazy.
Yeah,
It is crazy. It's
Mhm.
wild. I love watching. We do. I got a couple of the
Yeah.
diecast cars here, but of course, 29 used to be
man.
Harvick. I don't even know if it's still. No. And I used to be a Matt Kenseth
yeah.
fan. So
I was huge with Earnhardt, man. When
Yeah.
he passed away, that
and
was
that was my brother-in-law
Yeah.
was big into the number 3 and Dale
yeah.
Senior.
It
And
kind of. I'll be honest.
I can
man,
still
it,
picture that in my
it
mind.
ticked me off when Austin Dillon brought that number back out. Oh
Should never bring it up.
man,
I don't blame you.
it
Why?
ticked
Why
me
would you
off.
bring it back out?
I had
It
no
should
clue,
be.
man.
It should be in a shrine. This is
Well, I understand that.
But
I
I
think
don't know,
his
maybe I'm wrong.
granddad's the one that owns the teams.
okay.
So I'm pretty sure that I think his conversation with his granddad. I think there's actually an interview out there about it, but he told his granddad that he owns the number, so he can do what he wants with it. But that's the number he wanted. I was like, man, you just keep on crapping on it, don't you, man?
Yeah, I try to watch every Sunday.
Yeah.
So but it's getting a little
I'm
difficult. We're
I'm
also
iffy
busy in
on
life.
The new concept they got, the stages.
Oh
man.
yeah,
I'm iffy on that.
I'm a little iffy on that as well.
Yeah,
But
I get the whole process of giving people like a halftime or a first quarter, second quarter. I get that, but still at the same
I
time,
don't know about
like,
the stages.
well,
I don't know about
if
that.
you think about it, I mean, the problem that I have with NASCAR is, when I was growing up, it was right before restrictor plates and stuff came out. And
Yeah.
is they had, who was it? Bill Elliott hit like 212 at Daytona, and they had all these records being broken. But the way NASCAR was set up, the way it was supposed to be was, you get your best mechanic, you get your best crew, you get the best car you can build, and then you take it out there to see if you built a better car than anyone else. It wasn't necessarily about who was the best driver to a certain extent, but it was who could build the best, fastest car.
Right.
And now it's gotten to the point where it's
Maybe
everyone's on an equal playing field almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, no, but you're right. They were hitting these speeds at 212 miles per hour and all that. I mean, we're thinking of the driver's safety a little bit,
Oh, yeah,
and
for sure.
and it's actually pretty safe now when you look
Yeah.
at what's inside these vehicles and you watch these cars fly
Yeah.
through the air in some of these wrecks.
well, even when Earnhardt passed away like that did not look like
No,
a bad
and you
wreck.
see it almost every race now. Somebody slamming into a
Yeah,
wall.
I mean-
but yeah, that's crazy stuff.
Mhm.
AJ Sanders.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you, man. Thank you so much. You're
Thanks for
so
having me,
cool.
man.
It's
Yeah.
it's great to get to know you a little bit, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad that they routed you through
Mhm.
Syracuse. As what he's on is what they call a radio tour, and his job is
Yeah.
to go and shake hands and kiss babies at radio
Exactly,
stations. So,
exactly.
and
Have a little fun
yeah.
here and there.
So you were in our building today, which is pretty
Mhm.
old, but Dick Clark started there.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't
Alright.
tell you that earlier,
Nah,
but
yeah.
that conference room, we were sitting in the conference room, that
Yeah.
table came from the era
Really?
of Dick Clark
Man.
and Syracuse University. And we got
Yeah.
the Newhouse School, which is phenomenal.
Mhm.
A lot of big people have gone
Yeah.
through there and gone through our building to bigger and better things.
That's crazy,
And,
man.
good
I hope
example
I'm one
it is
of them.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are one of them.
I hope so.
You are.
We'll
You are.
see. We'll
All
see.
right. So if we got somebody watching before we wrap it up tonight, they want to get a hold of your music and all that.
Yeah. If you go, I'm on every platform. Spotify. If you go to Spotify, shoot me a follow. A lot of people don't know that if you do follow an artist, not necessarily me, but they actually, when someone puts new music out, they actually give you a personal playlist that it's already out.
Really?
Instead of having to follow me on every social
I
media,
haven't seen
it'll
that.
do
That's
that.
cool. Okay.
Same thing with YouTube. YouTube's doing that now with their music platform.
YouTube's making a lot of changes.
Yeah,
And
YouTube's got a really good platform now.
Yeah, they
But,
do. They do.
Yeah, if you go to Twitter, it's AJ Sanders Music. I told you I do a lot of motivational quotes and stuff that kind of push me through. If you go on Facebook, you can keep up with my touring and stuff. I try to keep each platform different, but AJ Sanders, just find me with the blue check mark. No other, just the blue check mark. And then if you go to Spotify, Instagram, AJ Sanders Official, and what I'm doing is I'm kind of every place that I'm at, I'm keeping it up on my stories and
cool.
all that stuff.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that way, if anyone's inspiring to do this or trying to figure out exactly what goes into something like this, you can go on there and actually see everywhere I've been throughout the last month.
What a
pretty
great
much.
idea.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
I'm trying to keep it as real with people as possible. That way, I mean,
Mhm.
it's tough, man. It's
It's a tough business what
it's
you're
a lot
doing.
of driving. It's a lot of hours by yourself, being away from your family.
That's hard. You got a 1-year-old, so that's
Yeah.
hard. But when do you go back?
So, give you an example of what I've got to do now. So,
Okay.
I was in South Carolina helping my dad for 2 weeks. I told you
Yeah.
he needed some help on a job that he couldn't do by himself, so I did help him. So I got back Saturday, got on a flight Sunday, came up here to New York. So I'm in New York all week. I end in Connecticut on
You're going to the Mohegan Sun.
Friday.
Okay.
And then so I fly out Saturday from Connecticut. I get in Nashville probably 11:30 at night. I wake up the next day and I'll probably have a couple hours to spend with my daughter, and then I have to drive over to Arkansas. I've got about 5 hours over to Arkansas.
Oh, man.
And then I'm in Arkansas all week. And then the
Really?
following week,
Doing the same thing, like a
same
radio
process.
tour?
Yeah,
type?
I'll get in late Saturday. I'll hopefully it'll be Friday, but late Saturday, leave Sunday to go to West Virginia, and then start the whole process over again.
Wow. See, people don't realize. It's crazy.
It's tough, man.
It's crazy, man.
Tough, yeah. It's not just all drinking and partying and having
No.
fun. It's,
No.
it's
That's saved for the country radio seminar.
yeah.
I don't know.
a lot
But
of
I
hard work,
promise,
yeah.
when I see you there, I'll buy you one.
Oh yeah, man.
We'll hang.
I'll get
So
you a
that's cool.
Jack Fire. How about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll probably have one before we get there.
All
From
right.
the sounds of it, it
We can
sounds
do
really
that,
good.
yeah.
It's AJ Sanders and it's Skip Happens. And again, thank you for coming
Yeah,
by. Man, you're awesome.
I
You're
appreciate it.
awesome.
Thank you.
And you're somebody that's you found out you had to move to Nashville. You've got your song. You've been writing music. You're doing well. The song is on the radio now. Chevy and Daddy. You can hear it on the Wolf.
Crazy,
and
man. It's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's crazy in a good way.
It is. It is. I actually told Dad the other day. I said, "Man, it's funny. I thought I'd be, playing with my buddies on the tour right now, but instead I'm doing that. I'm being successful at it. I won't complain, but it's just weird how life changes and puts you in a different direction.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Especially you. You can golf too.
Yeah,
You're an artist, and of course,
I've enjoyed it, man. It's
Cool.
fun. It's a fun ride. A lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
All right, it's AJ Sanders and Skip Happens. Tell your friends about it. Of course, the podcast is available everywhere that you get your podcast from. And here is soon to be. Get a good look at him. All right. Because he looks like Eric Church. He had aviators on earlier. I'm just saying. He walked in.
A mix between Eric Church and Alan Jackson.
Yeah, but it's in a good way. It's really, really cool. It's AJ Sanders. Thanks for watching.
Thank y'all.
And peace to you, my friend.
Yeah, man.
See you.